I've been growing out this hair for almost 2 whole years. This is what it looked like when I first started growing it out, and this is what it looks like now. I just took that picture, and yeah guys, this is the end of the long hair. It truly feels like I'm losing like a piece of myself, man. This is bad. Cause I'm just thinking about that process it took to grow this thing out, and all the doubters, all the people who said my hair would never look good. My hair and I have really been through it together. When I put this hand over the camera lens, this will be the last time you see me with long hair. So yeah guys, this is what the hair now looks like. Completely different hairstyle. Let me know what y'all think about this. I like it. I'm still kind of figuring out what kind of hairstyle I want, because my hair's at that length where I can honestly put it into whatever I want. So right now I just kind of went with the fringe, the textured fringe. Sometimes I'll make it even more textured and do more of like a textured crop. And I can even put it up in like a quiff or like a side part, like whatever. There's just so many possibilities now. So right now you're probably thinking like, yo, what finally made you decide to cut your hair off? Well, before we get into that, let me go over some of the pros that I liked when I had long hair. And maybe if you're thinking about growing out your hair in 2024, this is basically a pros and cons list, and I can tell you right now, it has more cons than pros. But in my opinion, starting with pro number 1, the best thing about having long hair was you like never needed to get a haircut. Especially during the awkward stage and like the growing out phase, you don't have to cut it at all. I'd say at max, I got about 3 to 4 trim ups the whole entire time I had long hair. But now that I have short hair, I'm gonna have to go to the barber shop like once a month. So that means I'm gonna have to pay like 30 bucks a month, rather than when I had long hair and only had to pay 30 bucks like maybe twice a year. So that right there, biggest pro in my opinion, and I guess we can call that pro, is saving money. And I just, like, who likes going to the barber shop? I personally don't. And then pro number 2 is definitely another huge pro, is you learn so much about hair care. I'm telling you this right now, you need to know what you're doing with your hair when you have long hair to make it look good. Like if you want your hair to look good, if you have long hair, you need to know your hair porosity, hair texture, your hair type. I mean, just go back and look at all my videos. You know how much stuff there is to learn about your hair. And I know that might sound like a con for most people, but honestly, it's not. Because having longer hair actually forces you to learn about hair. So that means you'll be way ahead of every other guy who knows nothing. And you'll know exactly what your specific hair type is, your hair texture, your hair pattern, while the other guys are stuck just using 2-in-1s every single day. So now that the pros are out of the way, if you are thinking about growing out your hair this year, it's not the worst idea, but those are the 2 main pros. And now we are getting on to the cons. And the first con is identity. And this could be labeled as a pro, but for me, I found it as a con. So growing out your hair is a commitment, to say the least. It took me like 1.5 years to almost 2 whole years to grow it to where it was. So especially for me, you know, because I have this channel, my whole brand image, my identity was hair, and specifically long hair. So I just felt trapped. I was like, look, I grew this thing out for 2 years. People know me as like the long hair guy. And I honestly wanted to cut my hair for so long, but I just couldn't because of how long the process took to grow it out. And I guarantee you, you'll feel the exact same way. If you take almost 2 whole years to grow out your hair, you're gonna have a very hard time cutting that off. But before I actually got this haircut, I'm talking about like months. I just went through what ifs. Like, what if I get it cut and it looks terrible? What if I get it cut and I want long hair back again? And honestly, I could list so many more. The point is that you sort of just attach yourself to being known as that guy who has long hair. And especially for me, like I said, because I run this channel and it's like, you know, people want to learn how to grow out their hair and they can't if I have short hair. But now that I got it cut, I can say that I'm really glad I got it cut. The second con to having long hair is the time consumption. Guys, I mean, this is a huge one. I totally forgot how easy it was to have short hair. When I took my first shower with short hair, I remembered I only had to use a little bit of shampoo, rubbed it in, and then guess what? I literally just kind of shook my head and my hair was already dry. I couldn't believe it. But with long hair, yeah, it takes like 20 minutes for your hair to dry. And I'm not even talking about air drying. Even with a hair dryer on full max frequency, full heat, doesn't matter. It still takes like 10 to 15 minutes for it to fully dry. And oh my gosh, man, this could be a con in of itself, but whenever your hair's drying and on the ends of your hair, they get super wet and they just start to stick to your back, and it's literally like the worst feeling ever. Like I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. The third con is that you need to be taking care of your hair for it to look good. So I kind of mentioned this previously, but with long hair, you need to take care of it. It will look terrible if you do not know how to take care of your specific hair. And I'm telling you guys right now, there is a razor thin line between looking really good with long hair and looking homeless. And I'll be honest, some days that I didn't take really good care of my hair, I looked homeless. All right, now on to con number 4. And this one is by far the most annoying con on this list. If you're ever just walking outside and you don't have your hair tied up in a bun, just with the slightest little bit of wind, your hair is gonna go everywhere, all in your face. So you constantly have to fix your hair, push it back. And even worse, when you're trying to eat food with long hair, bro, that's impossible. The only way it's possible is if you put it in a man bun or just tie it up somehow. Because it's not even funny how many times I've bent down to, like eat, and I've eaten my hair. So many times. Yeah, and if you go to work out at the gym, your hair gets all hot, sweaty, and same thing like when you're going down to eat. You go down to pick up a barbell, hair falls all in your face. You need a hat, a band, tie it up. You need something to enable to work out. Seriously guys, I can't stress this enough. This was by far the most annoying thing when I had long hair. Con number 5 is that you are pretty limited in what hairstyles you can get with long hair. Like it's pretty much either have it down or put it in a bun. But like I said earlier, my hair's at that length where I can literally put it into whatever I want. Like I can do the fringe like I'm doing now. I can do the side part. I can do the messy French crop. The hairstyles are endless. Now yes, you can do like the side part and the slick back and the curtains with long hair, but in my opinion, it just doesn't look as good as with short hair. Con number 6, the final con, and that is the fact that it didn't really fit my head shape correctly. So like if you can look at me now, like my jaw, my face just looks so much slimmer than when it did when I had long hair. Because I have more of like a roundish kind of square jaw. It looks more square here, but that's because of the hairstyle. When I had longer hair, what that longer hair did was it came down and kind of softened my jaw to make my face look more round than square. So I'd just say make sure you have the right head shape before you start growing out your hair. And if you already kind of have more of a rounder face, the long hair is probably just gonna make it look even more rounder. So it's probably not your best bet. And that right there, guys, are the pros and cons to growing out your hair and having long hair in 2024.